Terrific. Okay. Well, hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well and had a nice weekend. It's great to see everyone again. Just a few really short things today before we jump into some questions that you might have and I might be able to help answer. You might have seen on the UPUA's Instagram that Lexi and I will be hosting our rescheduled town hall this Friday at 4:00 p.m. There's been a very similar link to ask questions and the like before said town hall, but what we really want to emphasize and that I've talked about before is this interactive nature of a town hall that is different than I think most people have seen in the past. And while we're still working on exactly what that format is going to look like, we want to make sure that participants have an opportunity to really provide insight for us. We're looking to hear from the student body, not just give answers to questions that people might have, although we'll be willing to answer any that might come our way. We really want to ensure that the student government is left behind in a way that has direction, that is responsive to the needs of the current student body. And as our elections are coming up very soon, I don't think there's a better time to do that. So really the purpose, the direction, and the immediate actions of the student government are what I'll be asking of the student body at this town hall, and I look forward to hearing some of their thoughts as we move forward. This week, I'll be putting out an executive order establishing the executive bylaws. This is a document that essentially houses the inner workings of the executive branch, really nitty-gritty stuff, but it hasn't been updated since 2014. So pretty old document, and quite a few things have changed. And I'm hoping that will allow some greater transition material for the incoming president and vice president to really hit the ground running and ensure that transition is smooth. And then lastly, you might have seen that UPUA campaign season has begun. There's a town hall, I believe, tonight. I'll be working with the head elections commissioner on the tech side to try to figure out some ways in which we can live stream that event as opposed to recording it and uploading it later, as we had happened for the last event. We want to make sure that we get that out to the public as soon as possible, and we're hoping that might work. But worst case scenario, we'll follow the same procedure. It'll be recorded, and then we'll have them uploaded later on. This year, I think what is different and that I really like is the inclusion of representative town halls as well, giving people running for those spots an opportunity to answer questions and talk a little bit about their own platforms, since there are so many different ideas that are coming into the UPUA this upcoming year and really every year, but they aren't often given the opportunity to speak on them. With that, I mean, I don't really have too much. You can expect an email coming from me pretty soon about the student fee board. Applications are open through April 2nd, and I highly encourage you to apply, but everyone should be getting that email very soon. So there's not much really to report on other than keep an eye out for your inbox. But I'd be happy to take any questions about how things are going and how the next few weeks might end up looking, whatever is on your mind. See, Ryan?
Hi, Zach. Zach, I'm wondering if you could touch on a little bit the transition between the 15th Assembly and the 16th Assembly, a little bit about like how that's expected to go, and then any advice you have for those running their campaigns right now, and anything else about the campaign period would be great to hear your thoughts on. Absolutely.
Well, it's an exciting time for sure. And I think the transition is going to go, although virtual, very smoothly. I don't think that there'll be any hiccups or anything like that. And we're doing our part from the executive branch to make sure that the administration is passed on, the departments, those within it, are passed on to the next chief executives to ensure that their good work can continue. And I look forward to incorporating the incoming president and vice president's ideas, whatever they may be and whoever they may be, into the administration as well. I'll say some advice for current candidates. Keep your try to keep it together. It can get tough at times, certainly mentally draining. Our campaign season lasted, I think it was 2 weeks longer than most. So certainly a different experience, but all in all, try to take some time for yourself, recognize that it is a student government election, but at the end of the day, you still can make some pretty substantive change. I'll say I'm pretty candidly disappointed with some of the lack of things like combating sexual assault, climate action, which are obviously core tenets that Lexi and I ran on in many different ways. I don't see necessarily being prioritized in many different campaigns, and I think that that's a shame. But we're going to do everything in our power to ensure that those kinds of pushes are continued, and that really the systems, the structures, and the advocacy efforts that we've put in this past year are continued, because that's what it really is going to take, especially for things like climate change and climate action, I should say. Let's see, Phoebe, good to see you.
Hi, I just had a quick question, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess my next question, kind of like following on the campaign theme, what will happen if some of the elections and like if some of the positions don't have someone running for them? And do you think more people will like try to throw their hat in the ring, or do like write-ins just because a lot are not contested right now?
Sure. So Phoebe, I'll be honest, I caught the tail end of your question, but I think I missed the beginning. Would you mind just starting it off again?
Oh yeah, sorry. Basically just kind of asking what your thoughts on how little people there are running, and just like, do you think more people will do like write-ins once it gets closer, or how do you think that'll look?
Again, pretty disappointed with the turnout in that sense, and thank you for the question. I think that one of Lexi and I's personal goals were to see another contested election, especially for the chief executive this next year. We'd hoped that what we'd done had set a good trend for the organization moving forward, but it just seems that might not be the case. We're not taking it too hard on ourselves. We're recognizing that there are definitely some things we could have done better, such as even I mentioned earlier, sending out a student body-wide email. I'm working with the elections commissioner now about opportunities to still get involved as perhaps even a write-in candidate for any office, because right now there's no contested race for any of the races, and yeah, that's a shame. And it's not even, I know that there are a lot of great people running, and my personal whatever my personal opinions may be on platforms and the like, I think that it's always good to have somebody to hold you accountable to those ideas and to explain why your ideas ought to end up representing 40,000 people. And I don't think it's very fair to the student body that pretty consistently we've seen uncontested executive elections, and now we might even see some uncontested representative elections. So I hope there are write-ins. I don't know what it'll look like. Just in general, I'm a fan of competition and proving your mettle. And I think that that's what the student body deserves. So I'd encourage anyone who's interested to, I should have thought about this, who to contact. I would say contact Jordan Zaya, who serves as the Chief Justice of the UPUA and the Head Elections Commissioner, for more information to get involved. But so far as I know, an email their way is really all you need to be considered a write-in candidate. So the opportunities are out there. They just have to take them. And we need to reflect on how we can do a better job getting the word out there earlier on. Thanks for the question. Let's see. I am using a new TV, which has everyone put up here, but let's see. Okay, Ethan?
Hi, Zach. I really just wanted to ask you about the issues you had raised during the candidates regarding sexual assault and climate action. I was really just curious whether you and Lexi would have the chance to ensure these issues remain relevant for the UPUA in the future, and whether or not you have the opportunity to do so in the remaining time you had in office.
Absolutely. Thanks for the question. And I mean, we're looking at it as a sort of a sprint, right? We're not sure. It's impossible to say, what kind of energy and effort and motivation will be behind those advocacy efforts in the next assembly and the next administration. So, the only things that we can really control are how we respond to that fact, and that's just really doing as much as we can in the next 2 weeks. We're maintaining our communication with the administration, putting pressure on them to release, for example, the data from the 2018 sexual misconduct report. There are many different things. I believe even tomorrow there's a resolution coming through the assembly calling on Penn State to divest from fossil fuels, which is incredibly substantial. I don't think that that really would have been that would have been possible in years past, right? And I don't know, as silly as it sounds, really the best we can do is continue pushing for those things. We plan to meet with the candidates to talk about, especially, the executive candidates, to talk about the current efforts, where they stand now, things like I'm telling you here, but specifically how when they take office, whoever they may be, I should say, can continue those efforts as well. So all in all, it's much more than just taking the keys to the kingdom, if you will, but more so learning how to use them to be effective and really support students in those kinds of advocacy efforts. Thanks for the question. Ethan, do you have another question?
Well, the same mistake happened as last time. I apologize. My hand is still raised. But thank you for the question, Zach. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the answer you'd given.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. All right. Any other questions I can answer? Ryan?
Zach, I'm just curious, like in the matter of transparency, because it was something that was such a huge pillar that you and Lexi ran on, are you planning on voicing these concerns you have about lack of initiatives that are really prevalent and need to be addressed now? I guess what I'm asking is, do you plan on addressing some of your concerns, or how are you guys going about navigating transitioning when you still have some of these concerns about things that might not be appearing in people's campaigns?
Thanks for asking. It's a matter of sitting down and explaining, here's why we're here right now. Here's why this administration has been, in many ways, I should say, even the people within the administration have been so successful. People like Vancy Peacock, a freshman who got involved in the UPUA, not because they wanted to serve as some representative, but because they were passionate about food justice and creating sustainable procurement systems. That student is now doing fantastic work bringing about community gardens on campus. And I want to make sure that those kinds of opportunities are still available to students in the next year. And that the incoming people know about that good work. If it's not very clear to them, I want to make it clear. And I'm hoping that sitting down with those candidates will help make it a little bit more clear as to really why we're doing some of the things we have and why many of them need to be continued. Thanks for the question. All right, anything else? I have a question for you. At all of my staff meetings and cabinet meetings, I start them off with asking about a good of the week. What's something positive that happened to you in the last week? So I'm going to go around the room and play a little investigative journalism today. So Phoebe, what's something good that happened to you this past week? What's your good of the week?
Gosh, this is hard. I don't know. Well, I mean, this is kind of dumb, but I ordered this package from Amazon and it came in on Friday and I was very excited. So I guess that would be the good of the week.
Good. Good. There are many things that could have happened to the package between ordering it and then getting it. So I'm glad that it managed to get from point A to point B. Glad to hear that. Ethan, how about you? Your good of the week?
Well, my good of the week is probably more maybe bittersweet depending on how you look at it. I survived Nittany, Mount Nittany, because I decided to go hiking on Thursday due to the beautiful weather. Turns out ice doesn't melt that quickly, and I still have shoes caked in mud, but I made it down the mountain without getting severely injured, and I still had a great time with friends. So I consider that a plus.
I would agree. I've heard that a lot of people had the same idea and also had trouble coming up and down the mountain on Thursday. I guess the ice was an unsuspecting enemy to physical activity that day. But you know, we're actually the cabinet and I are planning a hike up. I think it's next Sunday for the International Day of Forests. We're going to be using the Department of Sustainability's social media to be talking a little bit about ecosia and encouraging people to really start using that platform. So we're going to have a go. I'm hoping it's not as icy as it was for you, but I'll keep you updated for sure. Ryan, what was your good of the week?
Same kind of tied, and I have two right now. I'd say the first was I had a really, really great relaxing weekend. I got out of state college, which was nice. And then I'd say the second thing is I'm student teaching kindergarten right now, and I had a really great day with my students today and got to work with a couple of them one-on-one. So it's always fun to kind of get to talk to them as one-on-one as I can. And they're really sweet and just super fun and bubbly students. So I'm really I'm proud of myself today. I think I had a good day teaching wise. So that's always good.
Wow. I'm really glad to hear that. And it sounds like a really exciting time. So very glad to hear that. Mine is not as cool as any of yours. I just went for a bike ride, and it's been a really long time since I've gone for a bike ride. I found less ice on my Thursday bike ride than Ethan did, unfortunately. But had a lot of fun. Emily, how about you?
Hi, everyone. My good of the week, well, obviously the weather was super nice. So me and my roommate have been able to go skateboarding this whole week. So we've just been kind of chilling and doing that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Good. Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I really do hope that the rest of your weeks are just as good and that you find plenty of more opportunities to have the next goods of the week. Cool. All right, everyone. Well, I don't want to hold you up too much longer. Thank you for joining us today and for asking away. Please reach out with any other questions, and I look forward to next time.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See you later.